This Buena Vista Beaver team has come afire.
Beavers win! Beavers win!
And the Beaver students rush the floor.
Ball game. BV has won it.
Thanks everyone for coming out on a gorgeous Friday night to spend some time with us on the lakeshore at Buena Vista University as we induct the class of 2025 into our Athletics Hall of Fame. My name is Tim Gallagher. I am a Director of Development at Buena Vista and a 1990 graduate, and I'll serve as the Master of Ceremonies for the induction this evening. I'd like to start by introducing everyone to our President, Brian Lensmeyer. President Lensmeyer came to Buena Vista in 2003. He is a graduate of St. John's University in Minnesota, where he was a student athlete himself, running on the track and cross-country programs and qualified for nationals a couple of times. So he knows what it's like to be a student athlete at his favorite level, the NCAA Division III level. We are blessed to have him as a president. And from the day he arrived on campus, Brian, as a professor of biology, was very intentional about attending athletics events. He enjoyed them. He enjoyed the competition. He enjoyed watching how our student athletes grew. And it also provided him a very meaningful way of connecting with his students and with students outside his area of study. It's a practice that he consistently demonstrates and continues to this day as president. So I'd like to welcome President Brian Lensmeyer.
Welcome. What a great night to be here to celebrate our inductees. I had the good fortune of being able to watch many of you compete. I was also blessed to have several of you in class. I'm not sure that you were blessed, but I was blessed to be able to teach many of you. And I'm thrilled to stay connected with you as proud alumni and now as Hall of Famers. Yes. You all worked so hard to be your best and gave Buena Vista your best. To our Hall of Fame inductees this evening, I've got a couple of shout-outs. Dan O'Hearn, Dan's over here. Yes. Your time on the basketball court and pitcher's mound predates my tenure at Buena Vista. So my connection with you is really through our history books, our newspapers, yearbooks, and conversations about the points, strikeouts, and victories. I am grateful that you're here tonight with so many, I understand, up 20 of your family members. It's an honor to have all of you here tonight to celebrate Dan. This weekend is special because Dan can celebrate along with members of the 1976 men's basketball and baseball teams who are here to celebrate their conference championships from 50 years ago. So congratulations, Dan. Jen Irvine, I got to meet a few minutes ago. Jen, I was brand new, first year professor in your senior year, so I didn't get to have you in class. But I did have some of your golf teammates, and I heard there might not have been a better clutch player on the links than you. As a true hacker on the golf course, I am envious of the skill, the nerve, the patience that you have exhibited for a sport that has been impossible for me to master. So congratulations, and additionally, on behalf of Buena Vista and BVU Athletics, let me be the first to welcome your daughter, Morgan, to our campus. Our golf coach, Joe Powell, is going to take Morgan some Beaver gear from admissions. I think this might be the first time Here comes Joe. The first time that a president at Buena Vista has officially welcomed a high school recruit to campus for a visit that just kind of coincides with Mom's Hall of Fame induction. Jen, congratulations to you and your family. Jestin Hulegaard. I had the opportunity to see you compete several times for Coach Schwab. At a time you brought home 4 All-American medals to BVU. I also remained extremely close with 2 of your trusted advisors, the late Ben Donath and Lanny Grigsby, both mathematics professors who you say you fondly remember. I'm sure they were both thrilled and honored to make a positive impact on your life. Ultimately, we work as educators to make a difference in the lives of young people. And I can tell you, they were 2 mentors of mine when I was a professor, and you had 2 of the best in the business to offer you guidance. I know both Ben and Lanny would really be proud of not only of what you did as a wrestler, but what you've accomplished in life. Congratulations on some great accomplishments, Jestin. Jestin Hulegaard. Lucas Probasco, class of 11. I also had the privilege of watching you feed the defense as a pitcher as your teams competed for and earned conference championships, conference tournament title, and a pair of NCAA postseason bids. You walked extremely tall here on campus in your senior year as we made a magical run through regional play into our first College World Series since 1968. I was thrilled to have you in class. I had you in class your first day of class in university seminar. I don't know if you remember, I wrote on the board that day that nobody in this class is special, kind of as a joke to set the table of you've got a chance to start over. I was wrong. You are special. You are special in the classroom, and you are special on the mound. Congratulations to Luke the student and Luke the Beaver ace. Well done. And lastly, but not least, the members of the 2011 Hall of Fame baseball team who joined coaches Edie, Sonka, and Dupik and others tonight in this induction ceremony. I can tell you now, looking back here 14 years later, the foundation that you worked so hard to solidify continues to serve as a base for Beaver baseball today. A program that, inspired by you, continues to win conference titles, conference tournaments, and NCAA postseason berths. Most recently, that trifecta this last spring. Your winning theme of extra innings in the NCAA Regional and College World Series inspired everyone on campus and throughout Beaver Nation that spring some 14 years ago. I remember sitting in this room at the end of the year celebration and banquet for faculty and staff, and President Moore every 15 minutes reading off the score of your regional baseball games and everybody cheering. It was such a great moment seeing that campus come together, and you made that possible. So throughout this weekend, I hope you'll enjoy these moments. That baseball team was fantastic. Congratulations. And to all of you here tonight, our inductees, their friends, their teammates, and proud family members, thank you for the role that you played in the success of BVU athletics. Make sure you enjoy this weekend. It's a great time to come together. These moments are important and they're precious. And please, please take it in. This is a great tribute to all of you. Congratulations. Go Beavers! At this point, I'd like our Director of Athletics, Amy Mayer, the point person in organizing this great celebration, to come up. Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you, President Lensmeyer. As with most athletic accomplishments, this event is a team effort. I'm grateful for the staff at Sodexo, led by Ken Allen, as they work hard and continue to work for us this evening. I am also thankful for my team, which consists of Jess Hoffman, Stephen Phelps, and in particular, Ryan Harder, who puts together the videos we'll see shortly for each inductee. This special night is made even more memorable because of the work that you guys do. Thank you so much. And the reason we're here tonight is because of the incredible work done by Luke, Jestin, Jen, Dan, and the members of the 2011 Beaver baseball team when they were student athletes themselves. We are honored to formally recognize your efforts tonight with your induction into our Athletics Hall of Fame. As we get set for your enshrinement, I'd like to recognize those individual members of the BVU Athletics Hall of Fame who were inducted in previous years and are here to celebrate with us tonight. So if you wouldn't mind standing when I call your name. Dr. Lois Koster-Peterson, who was inducted in 1996. Brad Bloom, who was inducted last year. Tom Mashik, who was inducted in 2006. Jeff Trost, who was inducted in 1988. Steve Trost, who was inducted in 1989. Sonny Riesland, who was inducted in 1991. And Russell Eady, who was inducted in 1990. Additionally, we may have members of the Hall of Fame who participated in Beaver teams that have been inducted, an honor we adapted 8 years ago. If you are a member of a Beaver team that is in the Hall of Fame, if you would mind just standing up for a moment. There's some Boot Hill Bowl. Yep, there we go. Did I miss anyone? Someone always sneaks in on me. Did I miss anyone? Nope. Well, thank you, former Hall of Famers, for being here tonight as well. I'm also grateful for the incredible work our coaches and staff members do each day to serve our student athletes and Beaver Nation. I'd like to thank these coaches for being here tonight to celebrate all that's great about BVU athletics. So if you guys would stand as I call your name, and we'll hold all applause to the end. Joe Powell, head men's and women's golf coach. Jeff Horner, head men's basketball coach. Paige Storm, head women's wrestling coach. Abby McIntyre, assistant women's wrestling coach. Carlos Beretta, assistant women's wrestling coach. Sean White, head men's wrestling coach. Steve Sonka, assistant baseball coach. Nate Hanner, assistant baseball coach. Braden Polzine, assistant baseball pitching coach. And our Dean of Beaver Coaches for his success on the diamond and the reigning American Rivers Conference Coach of the Year and Coach of the 2025 Conference Champions, ×2, head coach Steve Eady. Thank you, coaches, for being here tonight as well. I now turn it back to our MC, Tim Gallagher, who will give a prayer before dinner.
If you could join me in a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for your guidance and protection as we arrive tonight in safety and in good health. We are grateful for the food in which we enjoy this evening. Please bless it and bless those who work so hard to prepare it. May we seek your grace as we count the many ways in which we are blessed. Blessed through our talents, the opportunities we receive, and the friends we make along life's way. Provide us your grace as we do our best to humbly serve you as we serve others. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, we'll get started with the Hall of Fame. And our first inductee tonight is 2011 graduate Luke Probasco. Luke is a chemistry and criminal justice double major. He was a stellar pitcher for the Beavers, first team all-conference as a junior and a senior. He was all-region both of those years, and he earned first team all-region his senior year. And that's incredible considering the humble start that he had at Buena Vista. Luke told me that he remembers giving up, he got an out, and the team was playing Dubuque, and he thought it might have been at Carroll because our field was under renovation. He got one out, and then he gave up back-to-back home runs. And I think Piatek might have been playing left field, and he said he strained a neck muscle looking at the last one because it landed somewhere in rural Carroll County. Luke smiled as he was recounting this, and he said it could only go up from there. And it surely did. Luke and the Beavers in 2010 won the conference regular season and the conference tournament title, which was the first time that had been done in school history. And a year later, he helped the team win the Central Regional Championship and landed in the College World Series. That is the last time that a school from the American Rivers Conference has reached the College World Series. Ultimately, the Beavers finished third place in the country. When Luke graduated, he was second all-time in Buena Vista in wins with 23 and in innings pitched with nearly 230. Luke's wife, Cassidy, who is also a BV graduate, and their children, Grant and Mila, are here tonight, as are his parents, Robbie and Steve, and their significant others. Luke and Cassidy make their home in Muscatine. Luke works for Bayer. Let's enjoy a video presentation about Hall of Famer Luke Probasco.
He was laser focused on his job, and that was to pitch, and he was incredible.
He was so tunnel focused on what he needed to do to be successful, and he just never deviated from that.
The first time I watched Luke play baseball, immediately you could see a guy who had a world of potential. He was a tall, underdeveloped guy that was throwing in the upper 70s, and you just kind of saw what could be. I would say that if we predicted that he would be going into the Hall of Fame, I think we would be probably a little overzealous on that.
As a freshman, I was 6'2", probably, and 165. So just a physical force to be reckoned with.
He got better every single year, and he grew and he matured and worked hard and did all the things that you want all the guys to do.
I think what really helped was I hit the weight room.
There was a time where they were told to put on a little weight to gain a little velocity, and I think Luke took that very seriously.
Credit Coach Sanka for his chocolate milks. He really pushed chocolate milks on us.
Unapologetically bulking to gain some mass and gain some miles per hour on his fastball.
I think I had 2 chocolate milks for every meal.
And it worked because by the time we were seniors, he was a presence on the mound and he dominated.
He got better every single year, every single off season.
You could see in his eyes just how thirsty he was for information, how he wanted to learn, how he wanted to be a really good player.
He had a great fastball, but his changeup became so good that nobody could touch it.
I think the changeup was my best pitch, and it was just playing around with it.
I think once his changeup came together, which was really into his junior year, then he quickly went from being somebody that was like pretty good to like really good.
That was the story of Luke Probasco, as he pitched great against great teams.
At the national tournament, he threw against Carthage, who was really good, in the first round and beat them.
So we get to the championship day, and I think we were playing Carthage.
They came all the way back through the losers bracket and had to beat us twice.
We lose game 1, so our back is against the wall in game 2. It's winner take all to go to the World Series, and we get off on kind of a rough start in game 2.
I don't know how many runs we had given up, maybe 4 at that point. Bases were loaded, we still had 1 out.
And we bring in Luke in relief.
Got us out of a jam and then held him at bay so that we could catch up.
He pitched on 2 days rest and kept us in the ball game the whole game for us to have a chance to come back. He was dominant.
Like 6 innings of relief.
We hung around, because that was the big thing as a pitcher, was giving my team an opportunity to put up runs.
Shuts down the other team, and we ended up winning and go to the World Series.
Just incredible. We definitely would not have made the World Series without Luke Probasco. I'll never forget the Whitewater game when he's out there. He threw 7 1/3 or something like that with only 2 earned runs.
At the World Series, after he pitched the first game against Wisconsin Whitewater and won, some media came up. They asked Luke, hey, tell us about, the third inning when you had that jam and first and second and 1 out, and what'd you do and how'd you? And Luke goes, I don't really remember that. I just kind of, Kevin puts a sign down and I just kind of throw it and I'm focused on what I need to do. There's a beautiful simplicity, to what he was able to get to.
I think what made him so dominant is every single time that he went out to pitch, you knew that you had a chance to win that game.
It means everything to go into the Hall of Fame with the guys. Trying to remember how many career wins I have, 32, 33, something like that. I don't have any of that without them scoring runs. I don't have any of that with them playing defense. It's a sense of family.
Luke, congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I can't think of anyone more deserving than you. You're a great friend, great person, and a great teammate. I wish nothing but the best for you. Very happy for you. Congratulations.
Luke, I want to congratulate you on your induction into the Buena Vista Hall of Fame. The work that you put in and the effort and the time that you invested in yourself and your team, you get rewarded properly for that today. I'm so incredibly proud of you. I'm grateful to still have a relationship with you through all these years. Congratulations to you and your family on your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Luke Probasco, congratulations on an unbelievable accomplishment. 4 years of grinding, 4 years of getting better, and then performing your best at the biggest moments. You have helped your teammates accomplish things that have never been done in this program and haven't been done since. I know that you are a guy who would credit your teammates the most, and I appreciate that most about you, but you put the work in. You deserve to be here. Welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer Luke Probasco. Our next Hall of Famer is inductee Jestin Hulegaard. Jestin is a 2008 Buena Vista graduate who majored in mathematics, and he might be our first Alaskan to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's where Jestin spent the bulk of his formative years. It's also where he was introduced to wrestling as a 6th grader. And the coach who told him to come to wrestling, he was thinking that it was WWE and that there'd be ropes and Hulk Hogan. He found out that it was a true sport, an athletic endeavor, and he began to master it. He won a state title in Alaska, and then he won a state title for Anoka High School, at Anoka High School in the Twin Cities. That's where his family moved his junior year. It's where they were originally from. After a stint with the Gophers at Minnesota, Jestin came to Buena Vista sight unseen. He enrolled and he began piling up victories for Coach Mark Schwab and the Beavers. He always wrestled at 133 pounds, and he finished in the national tournament 5th, 3rd, 4th, and 8th, becoming Buena Vista's first 4-time All-American in wrestling. He was also a conference champion, and he finished his career with 93 victories on teams that finished in the top 25 nationally 3 times, including a 7th place finish nationally his junior year. Jestin serves Kluber Lubrication in the western part of the United States. He and his wife Jessica reside in Ridgefield, Washington, with their 4 children, Lillian, Colston, Corlin, and Hensley, all of whom made an 1,800-mile drive to Storm Lake this week to be here tonight. Justin's mother, Debbie, from Palmer, also joins them this evening. And Lillian, who is a junior, wrestles, and I'm told by Buena Vista's women's wrestling coach, Paige Storm, she's an awesome wrestler. So for the second time this evening, we're going to have a little recruiting pitch of 30 seconds for the daughter of a Hall of Famer who's being inducted to get a little something something from Buena Vista. Let's now watch a video on our new Hall of Famer wrestler, Jestin Hulegaard.
Hulegaard was a gutsy competitor. You know, he wasn't afraid to compete, to mix it up.
He wrestled really hard, really physical, in your face. The entire time. Whether it was 30 seconds on the clock or 10 minutes, he was going to be in your face the whole time.
An All-American in anything, let alone a 4-time All-American.
You know, those are hard to come by in any division.
I grew up in Juneau, Alaska. I lived there till I was 16, and wrestling and really athletics for the most part is complicated in Southeast Alaska because you can't drive out of Juneau. So to have matches or tournaments for wrestling, we would take a ferry, and it would be a day-long ferry to Ketchikan, 24 hours, one way. Wrestled for Team Alaska and went to Western Regionals and learned how to do freestyle and Greco, which was all new. Anoka is where I moved from Juneau, and at the time Anoka, Minnesota was the biggest high school in the state of Minnesota. We had over 3,000 kids. I was pretty successful. I would say wrestling in Minnesota was great, and I wish I would have done it from the beginning. I went to the University of Minnesota. I wanted to, be a D1 national champ, so that's where I went.
Well, I met Hulegaard coaching at the University of Minnesota.
My first year, Mark Schwab was an assistant coach, so developed a relationship with him. I was there for a year and a half. After the semester, my second year there, decided at mid-year that I was going to transfer so I could compete.
Called him up and see if he wanted to still compete, and he did. He came to BV without ever visiting campus.
Having Mark Schwab as a coach was fantastic. He was a great motivator. Having him there was great. Justin McClintock was there my sophomore year.
The thing I loved is, I was just getting into coaching, was he always wanted to work out. Can we go work out? Can we lift weights? And so for me, it was great. It was awesome.
He was solid on his feet. He was solid on bottom and pretty good on top. But he could also throw. I mean, if you tied up, he was capable of hitting you with a headlock or an under and over or something like that. He was potentially dangerous.
To me, everything leading up to nationals was just leading up to nationals. So the real goal was competing and performing at the national tournament.
And that was something I really, really liked from day one about him, is it didn't matter who it was. He wasn't going to run from a competitor, whether he was from New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania. He was very sure of himself, and he gets third in the national tournament and beat some really good guys along the way.
I had a really bad habit of forgetting my towel. So, and this is not unique to me, but when you're in the showers at these colleges, they always have paper towels. So I dried off with paper towels more times than I want to admit.
Justin had a great personality, get along with anyone on campus. Whether it was football, wrestling, baseball, you name it, he'd get along with everyone.
I would say being a Beaver is unique. It's such a special place because it's a small community, and I was really able to form close relationships with my professors, which coming from Minnesota to BV was really helpful for me academically.
Really bright, had a great academic career when he was at Buena Vista, so that kind of takes some of the weight off the table as coaches when you can focus more on wrestling and you don't have to focus on the classroom.
He was all around. He was a pretty well-balanced competitor.
I'm extremely happy for him that he's getting into the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, he's just not a guy that's going to go out of his way to toot his own horn.
I would say if you would have asked me as a freshman, are you going to be a 4-time All-American? I would have said yes, but I wouldn't, I don't know. I think it was more trained, like in my mind, with just winning. You know, just winning every match that I stepped down the mat.
Jestin Hulegaard, congratulations on the induction into the Hall of Fame. You definitely earned it. I'm extremely proud of you.
Congratulations on being a 4-time All-American. I'm not surprised that you were a 4-time All-American, and I'm not surprised that you're getting inducted here into the Hall of Fame. You got a lot to be proud of. Congratulations.
Hall of Famer Jestin Hulegaard. Our next Hall of Famer this evening, Jennifer Einck Irvine. She is a 2004 graduate of Buena Vista. Jennifer was the conference tournament champion and led the Beavers to the conference title in the fall of her freshman year in the year 2000. She had barely been on campus 8 or 10 weeks, and she was already at the top of her sport. As a sophomore, she finished second in the conference. Her junior year, she was 9th, and then she ended things the way she started them by winning it all, an individual title in 2003. Her team won the league title 3 times and also finished 8th in the nation in 2002. Jen was a conference most valuable player and a 2-time All-American. She earned her degree in finance and banking. She serves the Edward Jones Corporation as a financial advisor in Spencer. She and husband Chad have 4 children, daughter Morgan, and triplet sons Wade, Trent, and Grant. She should be in the Hall of Fame just for having triplets. Jen is joined here tonight by her family and her parents, Marv and Mary from Primgar, and a teammate, thank you, Betsy Hall from Omaha drove up to surprise her this evening. It was Betsy Hall. Jen got the team into a playoff in the conference tournament, and it was a 1-hole playoff. Betsy Hall did her part by chipping in the playoff to help the Beavers defeat Simpson. So we'll now enjoy a video about our new Hall of Famer, Jen Irvine.
There really isn't someone who deserves this more than Jen. She could hit the ball and she could hit it straight. It's the most beautiful swing.
Jen was one of those people that took me under her wing and made me feel like I was part of something bigger. I just think of her as being super solid, easygoing. She always delivered. We could count on her bringing in a top scorer every tournament.
My grandma Janice would just go out and tootle around, and I learned golf with her. Drive the golf cart, and I would hit my 7-iron the whole way around, and that's really what started me golfing. South O'Brien High School, we went in to state as a team my junior year. Made it to state my senior year, and I was runner-up.
I actually do remember going and watching her play at the state tournament, and I remember thinking, wow, this girl can hit the ball. And then I thought, she's gonna take my spot. But she fit right in. She came in and played very, very well.
I think of her as a competitive player, just super solid, but like so much fun as well. Her laugh for me is just contagious. When I started at BV, I remember there were some hard days as a freshman, jumping in, taking college classes, also being at practice and being busy. And there was a day that she knew that I had a bad day, and she came to practice with a card and a bag of M&Ms and just left it with me afterwards. And I think those are the little things that make you feel supported.
I remember one tournament there was snow on the ground and they delayed us, and we thought there is no way we're going to play.
30-degree weather, brutal conditions, but shockingly, I was the low score medalist that tournament.
We had quite a reputation. Made a great run at conference every year and made it to the national tournament one year.
Boston, Massachusetts, the course that we played, on was right after the US Women Open.
It was a long course. We played from the men's everywhere we went.
Very difficult conditions. The greens were super slick, and then 4 days of tournament. Pretty amazing experience.
I do have a couple memories. One specifically was in 2003.
Very dramatic, yes. That was the first year they went to 2 tournament weekends. The first weekend we played in Boss Landon. Challenging course. I don't think it was really the nicest day, that first day, but the next day I came in with a 79. And then the following weekend, then we ended up in Cedar Falls, Pheasant Ridge. I would have been the last one coming in because I was at the leader, and I came in off that 18th hole, and my team was all standing around the green. And I made this putt, and they just went crazy.
She made a huge putt on the last hole that made it so that we tied Simpson.
And I didn't know what was going on. I just thought, well, they're really happy that I made that putt. I come off the green and they say, you can't put your clubs away. The team tied.
Simpson is a huge rival, and we actually ended up going into a sudden death team playoff.
It was so fun. It gives me goosebumps still thinking about it. Betsy Hall was in the group before me. She made a great shot on, I think it was that first hole, and the spectators went crazy, and I'm like, all right, I think we're gonna be ahead.
And it was over after the first hole. We won that conference championship after the first hole.
Simpson was always our rival. I remember their coach coming up to me and just being like, Einck, where do you come from? Always at the conference tournament.
Nothing shook her. You couldn't tell if she was playing great or if she was playing terrible. She was just playing her game.
She had the mental game to support the scores that she shot. That was one of the things that I always admired, was that she could just get out there and get the job done every time.
She was a great teammate. She never says a bad thing about anyone. You couldn't find a nicer person.
She was so humble. Like, that's the thing that I think about her, is she never ever bragged, or you never felt like she was better than everyone else, which she was. But you just always felt like just as important or just as valuable to the team as she was. When I look back, I just am so grateful.
When I got notified that I was selected for the Hall of Fame, I was completely shocked and humbled, very humbled. But my grandma, she's probably just beaming. I would wear a little golf angel pin that she gave me back in high school at every college meet. It's because of her is why I golf, and she would just be so proud.
Congratulations, Jen, on this honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You deserve this so much, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Jen, I just want to say congratulations to this huge achievement. I can't say I'm surprised, because I know that it's well deserved. You're an amazing golfer and athlete, and also someone that I'm lucky to call my friend.
Hall of Famer Jen Irvine. Our fourth individual Hall of Fame inductee tonight is Dan O'Hearn, a 1979 Buena Vista graduate who pitched for the Beavers and played basketball for the Beavers. Dan won conference titles in both basketball and baseball as a freshman, and he gets to enjoy that 50-year reunion this weekend with his teammates. Dan quickly worked his way up the list of pitchers on the BV roster as a freshman, going from about the number 10, 11, 12 arm to the number 3, then to the number 2. He started a game in the postseason tournament in 1976, and he left with the lead against Winona. In basketball, Dan finished his career with 1,544 points, which was second all-time at that time in school history. That 1,544 points came despite the fact that he didn't play much at all as a freshman. There was also no three-point line and no shot clock. He averaged 27.2 points per game as a senior. Dan was an all-conference performer in basketball 3 times. He earned his degree in physical education and spent the bulk of his career in Eagle Grove, where he and wife Diane, who's also a BV grad, both taught, and they raised their children, Ryan and Bree. Bree is here tonight. Ryan is not, because, like his parents, he serves kids and he coaches. He's the athletic director at Humboldt, and they have homecoming tonight, so he could not get away. He'll be here tomorrow to celebrate with his dad. But that's about the only family member that's missing. Dan is one of 8 kids in his family raised at Barnum, and remarkably, all 7 of his siblings are here tonight. And tonight, all of them kind of seated back there. It's Michael, Maureen, Ron, Rita, Tom, Terry, and Ann. They're toasting Dan. They also reserved a spot at their table up front for their mother, Helen, who passed away in 2016 at the age of 98. Helen was an educator herself. I'm sure your mom is incredibly proud this evening, riding on the shoulder of each one of you as you made your way here to Storm Lake to raise a glass to her and to the Hall of Famer you all had a hand in shaping. We'll now watch a video about Dan O'Hearn.
Barnum, Iowa. Well, I played about every sport, cross country and baseball. We had fall baseball. For freshman year, I was 17 when I started at Buena Vista. I played some point guards, so we kind of cleared out the floor once in a while and just let me do my thing. And I don't care who you guard. I'm going to score on you. That's the bottom line.
Dan, or was it Danny?
At college, Sweet O. That was kind of my nickname. Earl Scott, he was from Los Angeles area. Okay. He started it. 'Cause, you know, I'd be kicking his butt on pickup games. And, okay, Sweet O, that's enough. So the rest started doing it. Baseball, got to pitch in the playoffs. Got to start a few games during the season. Shut out Central one time. During baseball, we had a fight with Upper Iowa. It was brutal. And I was part of it. Throwing inside, I hit a couple guys, and they were mouthing off. Next thing you know, everybody's on the field, swinging and punching. Jab, jab, jab. 7 patrolmen happened to be having their donut time, and they all came running to break it up. Coach was getting hit from the back, and he goes, "Danny, what are you swinging at?" I says, "Coach, I'm just backing you up. They were trying to hit you in the back of the head." I started here in '81. I was doing both, really. I was doing JV girls and junior high boys.
Dan was coaching girls volleyball of all sports. Quite honestly, they didn't like him at first. He held you accountable, which to me was the perfect type of coach that I wanted my kids to play for.
The first year I arrived in Eagle Grove, I was hired on as a head boys basketball coach, and Dan was coaching the junior high teams at the time because his son Ryan was in 8th grade. And then when that second year hit, it was basically like, you need to have Dan on your staff.
So I helped him out. We got along great. We won 2 conference titles.
That was kind of crazy because Eagle Grove hadn't had a lot of basketball success. They just hadn't.
He was in charge of the offense. Dan knew the X's and O's better than anybody.
Finally, in 2001, we made the state. So we weren't even supposed to be close, but we battled them. Ended up winning it. Place was packed. So it was the first time ever for Eagle Grove state basketball.
Just to see the jubilation of the fans, of the players, of the coaches, knowing we were moving on to the barn.
So after the game, we went back to Eagle Grove and had like just kind of a gathering in the gym. There was a lot of people there or whatever, and of course the team came out, and I do recall Dan just saying that, hey, 7 kids played in this game, 7 didn't, but the 7 that didn't are just as important as the 7 that did. He was just a mentor to the kids, you know.
My daughter, who is now in her 40s, still today tells me that Dan O'Hearn was the best coach she ever had. Not only from an athletic standpoint, but in life.
One of the most humble guys that you'd ever find.
Dan doesn't gloat. He's not the kind of guy that's going to say, "Oh, by the way, did you know that I was at BV, I scored X amount of points and I did this and I did that." He never did that.
This is a family award, I think, because they were all involved at some point, whether they come to the games or playing pickup games in the shed. They always tried to make it to the home games in Storm Lake. And my mom also. She died at 2016, but I wanted her there for this. She was the rock of the family. Taught school for 30 years. Took the train from Whittemore to Cedar Rapids. She went to Mount Mercy. She got her 2-year degree. Then she raised 8 kids and went back to Drake and finished her 4-year. She'd want to be in the front row, eating, having a drink or whatever. She loved it.
Dan, congratulations on being put into the Hall of Fame at Buena Vista. It's a great honor, and I feel privileged that I had the opportunity to coach with you and be your friend for all these years.
Dan, I have appreciated every opportunity I had to coach with you. I don't think that you could possibly understand how much I viewed you as a mentor throughout my process as a coach. Buena Vista made a great decision. Congratulations on your induction into their Hall of Fame.
Our 2025 Hall of Fame team is the 2011 Beaver Baseball Squad. The Beavers set a record for wins with 34, earning a championship in the NCAA regional tournament, and became the first BV team to reach the College World Series since the late 60s. The team also made noise in the College World Series by making the championship round and ultimately earning 3rd place in the country. The Beavers had 7 all-conference players, 5 all-region selections, led by second-team All-American and 2024 Hall of Famer Brad Bloom. Tonight we added a second Hall of Famer from this team in Luke Probasco. The 52 games played remains a school record. Let's enjoy a video right now about the 2011 BV baseball team.
Well, in 2011, we were coming off of a great season in 2010, had a great regional tournament, losing to Illinois Wesleyan, who went on to win the national championship. And we had a lot of players back. Conference was really good that year. I think there were 7 teams that were above 500, and it was a tough league, a lot of good arms. Offensively, we weren't dominant by any means. We had to do it a little different way. I got the number 2 seed in the tournament. Really actually didn't play all that well in the conference tournament. We lost, won a game, and then lost, so we were eliminated Friday night, thinking that our season was over, and the team came back to Storm Lake. And so Coach Stupik and I are trying to figure out if we have any chance of getting in at large. A lot of people were predicting that we would be one of the last teams in, and so we were calling back to some guys saying, hey, just don't give up on this thing yet. There's a chance that we could still get in. So Sunday night I'm staying up and I have my computer in front of me, and we're refreshing, and it was a long night waiting for that email, and finally about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, we got that email and called some of the guys, and you could hear a loud ovation because they got one more chance to get back on the field. But I think the reason why we got in was because our league was so tough. Being the underdog in those regionals was probably the best thing for us. I don't think anybody, including Illinois Wesleyan, thought that we were going to get through that regional. Then we played some of the best baseball I've ever seen, beating Carthage, Illinois Wesleyan twice, and then it set up a rematch with Carthage. Lost that first game, forced an if necessary game, and we were able to pull that out late. It was just a great feeling to win a regional and move on to the World Series. We were by far the smallest school in that 18 World Series. Had to face the mighty Whitewater Warhawks. It was an hour and a half from Appleton. We were a heavy underdog, let's just put it that way. And we played great. We hung in there. We got a lead early. They were able to tie it on us, and then we were able to walk it off on a single up the middle.
1-1 line drive, center field, base hit. In comes Case. Game-winning hit, Michael Hoffman. 5-4, Buena Vista in their first College World Series game, winning it in dramatic fashion.
Just a great feeling to beat the giants of Division III baseball pretty much in their own backyard. And to watch our guys be able to step up and face that competition and play their best baseball was something that I'll never forget, obviously. Second game, we played Keystone College out of Pennsylvania, another really good team. Played a great game, and they gave us a few runs, and we took advantage of it. Was able to win that game, to face the other undefeated team in the World Series in Marietta, who was ranked #1. One of the best teams I've ever seen in Division III, and we hung right with them and had a chance to score to tie it late. And they made a great defensive play on a ball to the fence, and we ended up losing that game 5-1. Forced our fourth game, our elimination game against Chapman University, and another great game. Low scoring, great defense, great pitching. Lost that game 3-2, and Marietta ended up beating Chapman to win the national title. So I like to say we finished third. When guys play with confidence and no fear, it's pretty fun to see. Our theme for the postseason that year was extra innings. We got a shot to play more games. We just decided that we were going to take advantage, not worry about outcomes, and just go play solid baseball, and our guys definitely lived up to that. Guys, congratulations. You guys accomplished so much. A great senior class, but also a great group of younger guys that really got our program to uncharted waters and really set the tone for BVU baseball moving forward. I mean, we are still the last team in our conference to have made the World Series. Just a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. You played with the best teams in the country. You gave us national exposure, and it's a memory I'll never forget. It's still one of the highlights of my career, and I know you guys are proud of what you've accomplished and how you did it, the way you went about things. It's just, the Beaver Nation family is just so proud of you guys, and it's a great accomplishment, and welcome to the BVU Hall of Fame.
First of all, congratulations to all the other inductees to the Hall of Fame. Been around long enough to know all of you and see you in action here. And Dan, I would say I did not watch you play, but I'm still upset we did not land Ryan. I was at one of his games, and I know we actively recruited him when I was a basketball coach here. So congratulations to all of you, and I'm so proud of you guys. This baseball team, what maybe we didn't talk about in the video here, maybe what didn't make the cut, is that great teams have some common themes, and it takes a well-rounded group of individuals that play for each other, obviously. They take advantage of opportunities, and this team did that. And they do what it takes to win, whatever that means. This group was well-rounded. It was a tough conference. We finished second in the regular season. Offensively, we were just okay. We finished third in the league in hitting. We hit the fewest amount of home runs this team did in the Iowa Conference. We had the third best ERA, but we led the league in fielding percentage and in stolen bases. So that was kind of our mantra. So early in that season, we got off to a little rough start. We lost some games to the weather, so we decided at the end of the year we would reschedule some makeup games against Gustavus Adolphus. We convinced them to come down and play us just 4 days leading into the conference tournament. I think our mindset was that we just needed to see these seniors play a few more games. We were able to beat Gustavus twice that day, 7-1 and 4-1. It was our 7th win in a row, and we felt like we had some momentum heading into the conference tournament. However, the conference tournament didn't go as expected. We were sitting at 28-14 and trying to figure out if we were going to make it in. When we got the call, and probably after the season was over, I started thinking about what those wins at Gustavus meant to our chances of playing. And so we get off a 3-game series against Cornell to end the regular season, and we have 2 more non-conference games before we head into the conference tournament. And so we didn't have our top-of-the-line arms going. And so this group, what I mean is this group was well-rounded. I look back at those box scores, and I see guys that had probably the best pitching performance of their career. Jared George, who's not here today, was our number 4 starter, and he pitched unbelievably well. We did have a great bullpen that year. So we were able to hand the ball over to, I believe, Tyler Lefebvre that game, who shut it down, which he always did. And then the next game we started a young guy by the name of Griffin Hatton, who's a sophomore at the time and had 0 record at the time and probably a handful of innings, and he threw 5 shutout that day. And then we followed with Kel Ganeku for an inning and then Kyle Dupik for a couple to round that out. And we played our bench guys, again, not knowing really that these games were going to mean that much, but I think when we really look back to it, this team was so well-rounded, and we had so many guys that gave us the opportunity to get that call and go to regionals. And I just think I think when I reflected upon that entire season, I had forgotten about those Gustavus games and who actually made a difference in those games and how big those were. So we got that extra chance. And what we didn't talk about in the video is how we won that regional. The first game we played Carthage, and we found a big 6'4" left-handed pitcher that couldn't hold runners. Well, we led the league in stolen bases, so we stole 6 stolen bases that game. We stole twice we stole third with 2 outs just because we could. And what happened is we started to get those guys to fight against each other, because the catcher hates to give up a stolen base, and the pitcher couldn't do anything about it. So I think we kind of flexed on those guys and just said, we're going to do whatever we want to do here. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the regional. But then we fought a little adversity playing that if necessary game, but I'm telling you, this group would do anything it takes to win a game. And when we tied it in the bottom of the 7th, we had a runner on third with 2 outs. And the go-ahead run was scored on a drop third strike. Tyler Case, I love you to death, and this is the biggest play I've ever seen. You swung at a ball in the dirt, and the ball kicked out in front of home plate. But what did Tyler do? And I've told this story to our players since then 100 times. He did not drop his bat. He took off. I have never seen him run so fast to first base. And as the catcher goes out to field the baseball, he looks up and sees how close he is. He doesn't even throw the ball. He choked. He panicked. Panicked so much that Dylan Colo snuck in from third base, scoring the go-ahead run, and he had no idea it happened. And that's how we got to the World Series. Of course, we had to get him out the last 2 innings, and James Stone thankfully got the last out, ground ball to Ryan Sheets. It was in slow motion. I'll never forget it. But that's what this team did. They played for each other and never missed out on an opportunity to try to win a game. They played so well when the pressure was the greatest. The style of play that we took to Appleton was unbelievable. Obviously, beating Whitewater was incredible. We got ahead, but then they fought back, and we made so many great plays, so many great pitches to get out of jams to hold it at a tie game, and then Hoffman comes up with an 0-2 fastball. And they ask him after the game, what were you thinking? He's like, he's going to throw me a fastball. I just took 2 of them right down the middle. And he about took the pitcher's head off on the third one. But the identity of this team is to do it at whatever it takes to win, like when Brad Bloom drops down a bunt with a runner on third and 2 outs against Keystone. After the game, they asked me, when did you give him the bunt sign? I'm like, there's no way I gave him the bunt sign. He just did it on his own. But they were there to win the game. And they were going to do it our way, what we did. And we outplayed every one of those teams there. Defensively, we were so amazing. I still will never, in the elimination game against Chapman, remember the Tyler Case to Brad Bloom to Kevin Claver at home plate, the throw out of a guy trying to score base. I mean, it was one of the greatest defensive plays you'll ever see in your entire life. And I just am so proud of how they played. They played with freedom. They played to win. And they played for each other, and that's what great teams do. So, you guys, it was such a joy to watch you. I want you to understand how great of an accomplishment this is. You need to know how many times your story's been told. And the guys that are wearing your jerseys now are proud of you guys. They play for you guys. And this will be a story for the BVU baseball program for the rest of history. Thank you.
To try to make this
short. I know where we're all going afterwards. Right? I'm going to start with my two coaches. Coach Sonka, are you up here? Oh, okay, he's on here. Coach Steve Sonka. He's still with us. He's been with us for 20 years. Was our infield coach, first base coach, and I love the antics that he used at first base, waving people around the second base. Sonka. We couldn't have done it without you, brother. Ryan Dupik, pitching coach, who is now the head coach at Concordia. First full-time assistant we've ever had in our program. Has won 7 conference titles at Concordia. The guy just wins. He's the best coach I've ever had in my entire life. Ryan Dupik, James Stone, relief pitcher, Johnston High School. Came off the team that was undefeated at senior year high school. Brock Yossi, third baseman, Dallas Center Grimes High School. Kyle Dubik, left-handed pitcher, was part of our 7th, 8th, 9th inning bullpen that was 4 or 5 years later, the Kansas City Royals stole our idea of using 3 bullpen guys at the end of the games. Great left-handed pitcher. Alex Davis, Webster City, was a sophomore that year, utility infielder. Dr. Tyler Lefebvre, relief pitcher extraordinaire, Harlan, Iowa. Tyler Case, center fielder, Santa Rita High School, Tucson, Arizona. John Ringbloom was a freshman. He started the Chapman game, later became an All-American in 2014. Millard North High School. Kel Ganeku, our first and only Hawaiian. Loved the Midwest so much, he stayed. I could go on and on about Kel. He's got so many baseball skills, it's ridiculous. Luke Probasco, Ankeny High School. Mike Hoffman, Arweva High School. Left fielder. Andy Compton, right fielder. Sioux City East High School. Kevin Klaber, 3-time All-Region, soon to be Hall of Famer, I hope. Starting catcher, Millard South High School, Omaha. Brad Bloom, Hall of Famer, shortstop. So many other things. Harlan, Iowa. Weston Fox, infielder, Elkhorn High School, Nebraska. Nick Schlett, Omaha Scott High School. Was an infielder, outfielder. Were you guys freshmen that year, right? Yep. It was a great freshman class. They went on to do great things their senior year. Joe Paletta. Joe Paletta is a 4-year starter, Millard South High School, assistant coach at BVU for 5 years after Coach Dubik left. Joe Paletta stepped in to be our full-time assistant. Skylar Radke, catcher, Alta Aurelia High School. And Ryan Sheets, first baseman, Millard North High School. Give it up for these guys.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. It was great having all of you. Congratulations to our Hall of Famers. Welcome to the BVU Hall of Fame. Thank you.